All right. I always say there was a time when we didn't need grills in our windows and doors. I remember police officers not having guns, but then I'm 65. But times have changed, and so have the headlines. So here to tell us how social change can curb violence is the commissioner with Indicom, a very good friend, Terence Williams. Morning, sir.
Hi,
welcome to Smile Jamaica.
Good morning.
This comes from a speech that you gave, and we were just saying that you can't fight history, and you gave us some history lessons. So give me an overview of what you said and why we are where we are right now.
Well, I was comparing countries that have high levels of murders per 100,000. And the first fact is that the Americas are the highest region in the world.
And we are
part of the Americas.
Right.
And in the Americas, Jamaica very, very high, amongst the highest. U.S. Virgin Islands, very high. Trinidad, very high. Brazil, and then Cuba, extremely low. Haiti, very low. So I was asking the question, what is it about the Americas? In Jamaica, we also look beyond the Americas. South Africa also had very high levels of murders. And one thing that I said that we could look at, one thing, there are many things, but one thing was all these countries have a history of injustice perpetrated by the state or for hundreds of years, or acquiesced in by the state. So we have slavery for 300 years or more. Then we have, in Jamaica, we have Morant Bay Rebellion, Coral Gardens incident, Tivoli incident, and in between these incidents, examples of situations where, to the ordinary Jamaican, there would be the view that state agents can act unlawfully and there'll be no justice for them. There's no equality. So what is learned is that violence is more important than justice, power is more important than truth, and it creates this breeding ground for violence.
And that survival means getting around the system.
Indeed, indeed. And then, of course, we added to it the fact that you have a gang problem in Jamaica, which is why Jamaica would have higher rates than other countries. And I spoke about political gangs and youth gangs, and then narco gangs, and going on to lot of scam gangs.
But Terence, this is what I don't understand about Jamaica. You would not have been the first person to come out and say,
oh, no,
we need a social agenda. Why don't we already have one? Why? It's no secret. That's a challenge. Why have we not just done what is necessary in terms of a social agenda?
Well, and the kind of social agenda I'm speaking about now is a simple one where we have equality as regards justice.
Okay.
With just that basic principle, which is a rule of law principle, that people are treated before the courts, access to the courts is the same for all, and we have this a system of true justice and accountability. Now, why don't we have it? I think if you look at Morant Bay, Coral Gardens, Tivoli, at the times when they happened, I'm sure that a majority of persons would say, well, good on them for quelling that revolt. Because each of them, there was a good reason for the state to intervene with force. But for each of them, the state agents went too far. So it is an acceptance that we have that some persons' rights can be abused so that we can have order. And we need to learn the lesson that is just temporary, and that what we're indeed doing is continuing the cycle of violence and lack of respect for justice, on and on and on.
You also said that there is a view that if you kill the bad man, them who killing people,
right,
that would bring down the crime rate. But you say no.
No, because we have seen it. You know, we have seen in Jamaica many special police squads. I don't know of ACID and CMU. We have heard about them old time days. It was Rat Patrol. And we have all these squads and so on. And you hear that. But what we have seen is that really over time, the murder rate has gone up over time. It trends upwards despite these gangs, because we are not dealing with the conditions that causes crime and violence to flourish in the country. What we're trying to do is to take out these current persons, sometimes leaving the top man, and that other persons, other foot soldiers replace those who are taken out.
Wow. So no light at the end of the tunnel, you don't think?
Well, I am very confident in the work that is done by MOCA and the JCF anti-gang. I think if they continue to do that work, we can do something with the gang problem in Jamaica. I'm very confident in the current leadership of the JCF, and I'm hoping that we'll see something more done for accountability. Because, as I said at a JCF function this year, INDECOM and the JCF should work together regarding accountability in the police force.
Yeah. ZOSA and the state of emergency helping?
Well, I'm not the best judge of it, but we all know that the murder rates have fallen in those areas. And I must say that...
In those areas?
Right, in those areas. And I must say that there's very little complaint of unjustified or excessive force in the areas. Very little complaint. Very unusually for the areas themselves. So they certainly have a role to play in bringing down the numbers, but we need to see what we can do to continue trying to foster a society where justice and equality of treatment of persons reigns.
I mean, I don't want to misquote anyone, but I think some of what I've been hearing is that, particularly in some of the areas where the ZOSA continues, that business people are saying, it's affecting them a little bit. People are saying in terms of their movement. And then there's a concern that what happens if you remove the ZOSA, will the area go back to what it was, which is a little bit of what you're saying in terms of just putting the Band-Aid on but not addressing the issue.
Yeah.
Who should address the issue? That's what I want to know. In terms of the agenda, it's justice, it's community. Who should address it?
Well, we all should demand it, as Jamaicans. Take, for example, a great rule in accountability are the commissions of parliament. INDECOM is one, the Integrity, Children Advocate. How are they supported with funding, legislation to do their work, cooperation of the executive in doing their work, or are they always being criticized? Let's take INDECOM, for example. We are criticized by parliamentarians without parliamentarians asking us to come and explain. So the first thing we hear is a criticism, not them asking us the question, I hear so-and-so, explain this to me. Yeah. So we need to have greater respect for the accountability framework that we have created.
Okay.
All right. Thanks for coming, sir.
I'm happy to, sir.
Commissioner with INDECOM, Mr. Terence Williams.
Stay with us. We head into the modern classroom right after the break.